Miss Mashali, jy het baie gepraat vandag.
Good evening, honorable regtig baie
My
gepraat.
kop raak
Ek is
glad.
moe.
Ek weet nie waar om te begin nie. Ek weet nie hoe manage jy om al die information te stoor nie.
Ek ook ja.
Wat jy ons hier gesê het vandag, name en datums is regtig ongelooflik. Maar ek wil jou vra vandag, waarom is jy hier? What is your why that you speak so passionately?
I was raised by a single mother because my father was killed in 1974. Just shortly after I was born, he was burnt alive by his employer. So my mother was left with 3 small children, and she had to raise us through those hard times. The one thing that my mother taught me to say was, it doesn't matter whether we are poor, we don't have money. One thing that will make you rich in life is speak your truth, even if you stand alone. Don't run in circles where people are ashamed of the truth. You are going to get a hard time. You are going to be humiliated. But stand strong in the truth, because in the end, the truth is the only thing that will set you in front of other people. My mother died while I was still young. I was 18 years when she was also in an accident, and I had to raise my brothers. I taught them the same values. One of my brothers is out of hand, drugs and all those things. And people blamed me when I celebrated and say we did it. When they were arrested, when General Kumalo and the others were arrested. But go and ask my brother, when he does something wrong and he gets arrested, I celebrate. I will be the one to take him to the police or a police station, because I will not tolerate one of my families to be part of the problem in this country.
Thank you.
That's why I celebrated when a case that was reported was investigated, prima facie evidence
Ek
was
gaan jou
found.
gou daar stop. Ek weet jy wil graag meer gesels. I want to ask you, at any point, because I've been listening to your testimony, at any point do you perhaps believe that people can use you as a tool and share information to drive their own agendas? Have you ever thought about that?
There was people who tried to use me as a tool. I received a 6 million offer through my husband by the executive director of IPID to say, stop talking about corruption.
Wie was daai?
Jennifer Tlatsing. There's the
Offered you how
reason
much?
why I actually divorced my husband.
Jy moet nou baie stadig gaan because jy het nou 'n serious allegation gemaak. Who offered you 6 million?
My husband came to me and he said, I reported all these issues to the executive director of IPID, Jennifer Tlatsing. And behind my back, she went to my husband, because I don't know what was she and Becky, Minister Tele discussing. And he came to me with this offer to say, you know what? I received this offer from Jennifer Tlatsing. They will give you 6 million. They will give you a rank of a brigadier. They will buy you a house and a car. Just stop exposing and implicate the minister in corruption. That is the day when I told my husband to say, this is the end of the marriage.
Sure. That is heavy. Okay. I want to ask you, are you currently enrolled in any form of witness protection?
No.
Because wat jy hier praat vandag, I honestly think that you need to.
The government is not
Protection.
prepared to offer me witness protection. I'm on my own.
Why do you say so? Who have you asked for witness protection?
The threat assessment was sent to Parliament, and up to today, no. In fact, pre-state crime intelligence had charge warrant officer Masdorp because he did a threat assessment on me.
I think that's something we need to revisit. You also spoke earlier on and you indicated something that made my skin crawl. You indicated in your evidence that firearms that were officially booked in at SAPS for destruction were subsequently re-registered and returned to our streets, right? Could you explain the formal process for destruction of firearms and whether it is legally possible for firearms destined for destruction to be re-registered? And I'm asking this because this is not the first time. Way back, we had a colonel by the name of Christian Prinsloo.
Who has been released in 2020.
Christian Prinsloo, way back, there was firearms that was handed in, and he actually was selling those firearms to gangs here on the Western Cape. En nou sê jy weer vir my, years later, the same thing is still happening in SAPS. What is the process? How does this happen?
When the firearm owners hands over the firearms at the police station, those firearms are forfeited to the state. When the firearms are forfeited to the state, police stations take the firearms to the provincial storage facility. When those firearms arrives at the provincial storage facility, those firearms must be taken off the system and it must be placed on State Department 1. State Department 1 means these firearms now belong to SAPS. So once they are placed on State Department 1, these firearms are now marked for destruction. You cannot do anything with them because it belongs to the state now. So what I found that before these firearms are placed on State Department 1, these firearms are now being placed back into the system, sold to different dealers. And those dealers register the firearms on their dealerships and those firearms get licensed at the Central Fire. Police officers.
Do you have a name for?
I printed all the documents that I handed over to Colonel Scotta. Last time when I did inquiries, because General Mutley is now.
Who did you hand the dockets over, the names?
Colonel Scotta.
And when was this?
This was in 2020 during the lockdown.
And what happened since you handed over those names? And
What happened, General Mutley wanted to pursue this investigation, but unfortunately they didn't have someone who could check the serial numbers of the firearms for them on the system. As a result thereof, General Mutley called me and said, Patricia, will you be fine if I ask the provincial commissioner for a service arrangement so that you can come temporarily to DPCI to assist us to check the statuses on these firearms through the serial numbers. He wrote a letter to the provincial commissioner, General Mtsonyani, and she declined that request, and it ended there.
Sure. You also testified that certain members within crime intelligence were found to have links to drug cartels. When you started earlier on, you said there's drug dealers. Those were your exact words. Stuck with me, and I'm sure you know why. There's drug dealers in crime intelligence. Who are they? And
there's the reason why my husband was arrested, because he stumbled across these crime cartels. And it was not just in crime intelligence, there was traffic office, because he submitted this profile. It was a profile list that he submitted to General Nkuna. As a result thereof, General Nkuna established this task team to investigate these cartels. Shortly after this task team, my husband was part of the task team. The task team members was arrested, and that is where Colonel Sinatle went to my husband and said he must implicate General Nkuna into this, of being part of these syndicates.
I'm not sure if it was you earlier on touched on the 30 million drugs that were seized.
That was relating to the issue of General Khan, the departmental case against General Khan, where the drugs were seized and police officers went to the scene to remove the drugs from the scene, and another police officer called General Khan to inform him that, yeah, our police officers were removing the drugs from the scene. General Khan went to to the crime scene. He called, I think, the head of DPCI to take over the crime scene. And he was also charged as a result of that because they say he interfered into the fact that the police officers were trying to remove. The police officers was told, they later confessed that indeed they tried to remove the drugs from the crime scene.
Yes, because I remember they tried to remove those drugs before actually putting it in forensic
Yes.
bags and actually numbering
Yes.
those bags.
Mm.
So when the second team came on site, they actually disposed of the drugs in a proper manner.
Yes.
Am I right?
Is the team that General Khan called, the second team.
Do you know Feroz Khan very well?
No.
Do you have a relationship with him?
I have never seen General Khan in my life, but there was a rumor that actually it was Honorable Ian Cameron who told my husband that I'm having a romantic relationship with General Khan. I don't know General Khan. I have never spoken to him. I don't have his nothing. I don't know where Honorable Ian Cameron got that information, but he told my husband, because Honorable Ian Cameron, I don't think he knows what is the relationship between me and my husband. He's speaking a lot with him. Yeah, speaking on a daily basis. He told my husband that Patricia have a romantic relationship with General Khan.
Dat julle twee ook die kat knip.
Soos ek in Maasdorp.
Has he even given you information?
No,
Never.
General Khan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never communicated with General Khan. I don't have his number. I've never communicated with him. I've never seen him like this. I've only seen him on pictures or wherever he's been shown. I don't know him and he doesn't know me.
Also, I want to ask, you know, Mr. O'Sullivan, and if so, to what extent was his involvement in matters relating to SAPS, crime intelligence, state security?
I have this YouTube channel, my own YouTube channel, where there's other guy in Jabula, where we actually challenge Paul O'Sullivan on several occasions relating to the Senzo Miwa case and other cases to say that he is all over the place in police business, but we've never found him actually questioning Kininda's behavior in the Senzo Miwa case. I've never spoken to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. I don't think he knows me. But there was a time where he also shared information that I shared on Facebook, and he also shared that information. And maybe he took it from my Facebook with me. But I've never spoken to him. I don't know him.
Do you think he could be connected with these drug cartels?
If you look at the Radovan Kresha case and what transpired in that case, I believe he's connected.
Are you specifically referring to the fact that he organized for witness protection for one of those?
I specifically refer to the fact that they organized witness protection with the idea of a dead man for their Section 204 witness.
Say that again?
I received
Ms. Mashela, just go slow.
Okay.
What are you saying? They organized,
witness protection.
yeah?
They gave the ID of Mr. Jacob Nare, who was murdered in 2015. This witness of them, the Section 204 witness, is now known as Jacob Nare. But Jacob Nare was killed, and Jacob Nare's brother sent me here to say, please ask Parliament to assist us with our brother's matter, because this undocumented Zimbabwean national is an imposter using the ID of our brother.
And who organized that? Mr. Paul O'Sullivan?
Paul O'Sullivan, Candace Kutsia, and Gininda.
Sure. Okay. Finally, based on your evidence and your observations, you have indicated that political interference within SAPS and other state security institutions continues, right? According to your experience, which political parties have been at the center of interference?
From what I know in Free State is the ANC.
Vini ANC, and why do you say that?
I know about Ace Magashule, and currently now I know about the current premier of which serious cases have been opened against her by the EFF, and those cases are being covered up by the
Wie
South
het-
African Police Services. Queen, the current premier, they call her Queen
Current premier of
of
which,
Free State. Free
of
State.
the Free State?
Mm.
And you say there's cases against her.
There's cases that have been opened last year by the EFF. That docket and her baby mama, a baby daddy, is the chief prosecutor, Mr. Silo Madloko. So these cases, these people I can tell you, is a syndicate. They are working together, is SAPS, is the DPP, NPA, is correctional services, hence I'm saying if Mr. Nguru can be called or you can interrogate his evidence, because it's not just affidavits. He have evidence of payments that have been made to him by generals, by the current DPP of Free State. There's receipts. Those payments, his lawyer confirmed that there's a trust account that was open for these payments to be made in the trust accounts, because Mr. Nguru was the one who was facilitating hitmen for the politicians, and the SAPS and DPP correctional services, all those people cover up these cases.
Sure, dankie. Miss Patricia Mashale. Vrou wat so baie post op Twitter en Facebook, I finally get to put a face to it. Thank you so much for your service towards South Africans. But I also want to tell you that, you know, with your type of optimism and activism, at some point you'll be ostracized. So just relook at your approach, because when you put stuff out there in the public domain, sometimes it actually compromises the very matter that you're trying to pursue. Just a
Can
word of
I
advice.
respond to that, Honorable James? When I receive information from the sources and the whistleblowers, because I also call them whistleblowers, just afraid to come forward because of this retaliation, they specifically request me to put it out there. Because if it's not out there, it's going to be covered up. And we have experience of that serious crimes and corruption, like when he spoke about General Mfazi's sister contacted me. She has been posting on Facebook for the longest time. And there was a time when I also posted about General Mfazi, and she contacted me and she was in tears to say, we are still looking for justice for our brother who have been poisoned. And I was so glad to see that you were posting about it, because we have been everywhere. We are not getting assistance anywhere.
Okay.
So when I post it there, it's not because I want likes, it's because people request me to say the only way these issues are going to get attention if it's out there publicly.
Thank you, ma'am. I understand that, but I'm just saying to you that it sometimes compromises the very matter that you're trying to push and get justice
Thank
for.
you so much. Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Totieni. I don't have many questions for you. You spoke about how SAPS is currently top-heavy with generals and on the grounds lacking the adequate resources to effectively do their jobs. Can you elaborate on this?
Earlier, thank you for the question, Honorable Chair. Earlier, I made the example of a simple function as being able to follow and trace metadata, cell phone metadata, when you are pursuing a dangerous suspect. It is a process of completing paperwork as it stands, which sometimes depends. It can be 3 days, can be 5 days, it can be a couple of days. Whereas in the past, having such access would make investigations, particularly when you are tracing high-profile criminals. That's the clarification. This investigative capacity and skill would be available at the ground on the ground, with those officials.
Okay. You also, I want to ask you, are there cases of illegal, undocumented foreigners in the employment of South African police service?
I have not,
To your knowledge.
well, my exposure was primarily in the province of the Eastern Cape.
Uh-huh.
And throughout my years within law enforcement, I've not received reports where they've said they are illegal within that specific province. I cannot speak to other provinces.
Okay, I also want to ask you, were SAPS members involved in the death of General Mfazi?
That is the crux of this whole thing.
Okay. I just needed us to be very direct and clear, and that needed to come out. The fact that you testified here today, alleging, insinuating that there are SAPS members involved in the murder of a general, a deputy commissioner.
A
to be
deputy
correct.
national, that
And
is
that case hasn't been investigated.
nothing. Well, they can say they've pushed paper, but it's 5 years down the line. It has not been investigated to satisfactory conditions or to satisfactory results that can actually lead to the prosecution of individuals that were behind this. And more so, we raised this alarm because of who General Mfazi was at the time of his death. He was a general flanking the president of this republic during his inauguration, and that should mean something.
Okay, thank you, sir. I have no more questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable James. Thank you so much, honorable members. Ms. Mashala.